You wanted the best. You've got the best podcast. The hottest podcast in the world. The Chris Voss Show, the preeminent podcast with guests so smart you may experience serious brain bleed. The CEOs, authors, thought leaders, visionaries, and motivators. Get ready. Strap yourself in. Keep your hands, arms, and legs inside the vehicle at all times, because you're about to go on a monster education roller coaster with your brain. Now, here's your host, Chris Voss.
Hello, this is Voss here from the ChrisVossShow.com. Ladies and gentlemen, that makes it official. Welcome to the big show. As always, 16 years, 2,500 episodes of bringing the Chris Voss Show. Why? I don't know. We were getting high on mushrooms in the woods, and light came upon us and said, "You should start a podcast." Something like that. I don't know. I'm not really sure that's how it happened, but that's my story, and I just made it up. Anyway, guys, further to your family, friends, and relatives, remember to spread the love, spread the knowledge, spread the inspiration, all the uplifting stories we share on the Chris Voss Show. The unuplifting stories, the depressing stories are on other podcasts, so don't do that. Just subscribe to ours. Anyway, thank you very much for coming on the show. Opinions expressed by guests on the podcast are solely their own and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the host or the Chris Voss Show. Some guests of the show may be advertising on the podcast, but it is not an endorsement or review of any kind. We've got an amazing young lady on the show. We're going to be talking to her about her insights as to how you can improve the quality of your life, or else I'll have to pull the car over there and come back there, folks. So make sure you listen intently to the show. Today, we have Pells on the show. Her and Larry are founders of Life Giver Legacy, specializing in results-driven financial services for homeowners and business owners. With over 18 years of experience, they have a proven track record of helping customers find funding for businesses and implementing cash flow strategies that allow homeowners to pay off their mortgages 5 to 7 years earlier without changing their income or expenses. She can also provide access to info on DWY business models that can generate at least $10,000 a month with just 1 hour a week of the client's time. Sounds like my OnlyFans. No, I'm just kidding. I don't have one. Anyway, welcome to the show. How are you, Ann?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming. We really appreciate it. Give us .coms, any of the websites you want people to check you out on.
amzn.to. That'll show you how to get the house working for you like a bank, pay it off in 5 to 7 years total. That was a miracle for us. Paid ours down by half in the first 2 years and then on our way. And everything good started from there. So
well, that sounds like a deal. Sounds like a deal to have. 5 to 7 years instead of 30. I mean, some people do longer now, I think, don't they?
I know, right? And every time you move, you got to start over on the thing, and you know, tons of interest those first few years. So I sure was grateful to find it. Yeah.
Most people don't understand that when you reset your mortgage, whether you move to a new place or refinance, you're resetting that interest per diem.
You're right.
And,
exactly.
And so you may save we had a mortgage company for 20 years. So you may save I'd have people come to me and well, I want to save $100 a month. I'm like, it's not really going to save you $100 a month. You know, you do have all your credit cards, but it's not really going to save you $100 a month. Higher savings can help, but when you reset that thing, I mean, a lot of times you just add, what do you add extra to the mortgage on a payment or something extra?
Right. All those closing costs and everything. This one that we did was no closing costs, all done, nothing out of pocket. And we could see the balance dropping within about 30, 60 days. So I count that as a true financial miracle for our family. And I love it. My grandpa, when I was 15, gave me a word that has helped me, and I hope this will be helpful to everybody, no matter what you're doing. He said that can't is not in his dictionary. And I looked at him, I'm 15 on the couch going, yes, it is. It's between B and D. How could can't not be in your dictionary? And he just said, instead of telling ourselves that we can't do something, ask yourself the question, how can I instead? And find someone who's doing what you want. And ask them for help, because it'll go a lot faster and a lot easier. Yeah, I love it. That was one of our first big ahas. And after I stopped trying to do only the things that I knew and started asking questions and finding people who were smarter than I was on all the things I wanted to figure out, it all started going a lot better. So.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it really does. And being able to, you don't realize how much you pay in interest on a lot of these things. So
Yeah.
give us kind of a 30,000 overview of what you guys do there. I notice on amzn.to you've got a big offer that's up there. Give us a 30,000 overview.
And the idea is, I just wanted to make it as simple as possible. Watch the 20-minute video. It'll cut 20 years off your mortgage. I think that's worth a few minutes of time to find something you didn't know. I think the biggest cost, as I've looked at the past 18, 20 years of our life personally and in our business, is the cost of what you don't know that you don't know. That's a huge cost that everyone ends up paying. We all end up paying it for our health, for our relationships, for our money. And this was something I didn't know. I didn't know until about 5 years ago. And we have moved so many times, like you said, resetting. So the 30,000 foot view is watch the video, get on that phone call with the team and just ask them. It's specific to you, to your income and expenses, as if you don't have a house payment at all, because of the way it pays off. And so I haven't had a house payment for 5 years. And at the same time, I'm able to treat our house like a bank, and it's paying for itself and making things happy over here. Yeah. Love it.
And so no, who's your target audience? I think we talked pre-show that some you help some boomer folks. Who's your audience out there if they're listening, and how can you help them?
For me, it's anybody who wants to own a home that feels like they can't. I'm trying to be a hope warrior, give everybody some hope, because sometimes we just watch the price of real estate and the interest rates and all the things, and we start giving ourselves that message that Grandpa said not to, which is, oh my gosh, I can't even buy a house in the first place. And if I have it, how am I ever going to get this thing paid off? And that's our audience. Generally, people talk to us when they're in their 30s, 40s, and 50s because they haven't got a financial plan that's going to help them have some residual income coming in so they can retire somewhere along the way. And when they see the power of what the house can do for them, it kind of opens some doors, and then we can help them, to have those businesses and other things that you mentioned. So, but that was I love recipes that just work, that you just know the ingredients are going to give you the thing that you want when it's time for dinner, right? And so that was our first ingredient, was getting the house to work for us instead of against us all the time. And then to make sure the businesses were running on autopilot as much as they could with people who are smarter than me, make sure they run the way they're supposed to, so I can enjoy the other things I like in life, which is like chocolate and my grandkids and things like that, right?
Yeah. I mean, grandkids are cool as long as they're not teenagers. No, I'm just I see the teenagers. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. They're lovable up until about then, but they're trying to find their place in the world, so they kind of lost there for a little while, and then they always come back.
Right.
But I mean, spending more time. I know this is a big issue for boomers and people who are retiring. Spending more time with their family, but maybe a lot of people. I think there's a lot of studies on this. A lot of people really don't have enough for retirement these days, and inflation's been kind of crazy. If you've seen the price of eggs and groceries lately, and I mean, inflation kind of always is a thing. It's always, I mean, I remember when I was looking at candy bars the other day. I'm like, I remember paying 25 cents for Snickers back in the day.
Me too. And it tasted just as good, and it was awesame. But
might have been tasted better. There might have been less poison ingredients in all that food back then. But that was before they came and introduced, what was it? High fructose sugar. So, evidently high fructose sugar is really expensive. It's expensive at the hospital too, later in life. Anyway, so how do you give us maybe some tips? I don't expect you to give the secret sauce away, but what are some tips on why people can pay off their house in 5 to 7 years? Why is that important? I mean, what is the difference going to make for them? And then do you one of the problems I see with a lot of potential home buyers right now is they're living 2 to 3 times a day on DoorDash. And and I have money, but I'm still cheap because I grew up poor, and I even can't justify $40 to have a $10 burger delivered to me. So do you help people, manage their budget game?
Yes. Yep. I do have a really good friend that we plug you in. He's got a great recipe too. Seven simple steps to take that house strategy and really maximize it no matter where you're starting. Like we started with no equity at all in our house, and some people don't even have a house, so they're just trying to buy one, and it works for both. And then, of course, after those first couple of years, when the house was halfway paid off, we could use that money again. It's recyclable. The best thing about recycling when money works that way, and that let us purchase some businesses and do the things we do now. So it opened up so many doors. It was beautiful.
That is awesome. That is awesome. And yeah, I mean, I think most people don't realize I'm just going off this from my mortgage days, and it's been 20 years from the 20 years maybe.
Yeah.
And so I'm not sure if these numbers have changed. So keep that in mind, folks. You can Google, you should always double check everything Chris Voss says anyway. But it used to be, they would say that if you had a $5,000 credit card balance, if you made the minimum payment on that, you would pay that off in 25 years, and you would pay 5 times that $5,000 amount. So you pay $25,000 in payments and interest on some stupid crap you bought at Target.
Right.
We all did it. We've all done it. You're like, put the $5 knickknack on there. Yeah, don't worry about that.
I know, right?
And then you're paying compound interest on it for the next 25 years. With mortgages, I know, a lot of that money does go toward interest. When you look at your closing statement on your federal truth in lending, I believe it is, form, it shows the amount of interest you're going to pay.
Right.
That's a lot of money.
I know.
Especially on a 30 or 40-year loan, especially nowadays. I mean, back when we did mortgages, they were pretty cheap. Now everything's $1 million.
Right.
So eating at that is really important. And I think back in the day, they said, I don't know if this is still true. So if you add $100 to $200 a month to your mortgage payment, it goes straight to the principal. That can help turn it into a 20 or 15-year loan, depending upon how you do it, I think. I don't know.
That's true. However, what if you lose your job or a health thing comes? That's what happened to us.
Oh, really?
So frustrated because we'd been doing that, putting in 100 or so extra, but we just didn't have an emergency savings account. And then my husband got laid off. We had 3 little ones, and my go to school, get a good job plan kind of blew up on us. And I thought, oh my gosh, that's our only income. And so now I definitely go this other direction that we didn't even know till we were 50. So I love it when people can find the ANS Plan team before they're 50 years old, because, we've lived in 15 different houses now, and think what I would have done. Like, I think what we don't understand, what we don't know about what we don't know about mortgages is that total interest that you're talking about. Like when we buy a house for $300,000 here where I live, it's going to cost another $600,000 on interest, even if we're putting in that extra $100 or $200 a month. And ANS Plan, the way they taught me to do it, even just, I guess you can teach an old dog new tricks. I learned when I was 50 to finally get that done without being on a starvation diet. Like I really, really, really like chocolate, and it's no fun to not be able to spend something on the fun things too. So it's both. It teaches you how to have that emergency fund and get that house taken care of all at once, and then you don't have to worry about it. And you also don't have to use the word can't in your dictionary either. It's all, I mean, gosh, I didn't, when I was 15 and Grandpa was telling me that, I wish that I would have taken that to heart during our crazy financial life since then more.
Well, you live and you learn.
Yeah.
Sometimes we all kind of make those mistakes, And but the thing is, you don't wait to life and to learn. So now you also, it appears to give like a balanced approach. So how can someone purchase an existing business with a management team that helps find, fund, and run the businesses to make that $10K a month to give you that additional income with minimal time commitment?
We have 2 partners that help us do that. People smarter than me, and they've been around the block a lot more than I have. And you get to choose what kind of business you want, where you want it, and generally what kinds of income you'd like to have each month. And then they go to work to look for you for that and show you how to do it and what they're doing. And then every week we hop on a phone call like this, and they just give us an update on, after we've purchased those businesses, then they'll give us an update about what's happening in them. So I still have my finger on it. Keep taking your pulse and making sure you're still alive, doing great. But I don't have to be involved in the day-to-day as much, which I really appreciate, because we've had a lot of businesses where I did need to be on the phone during dinner and miss all the important things with our family and all of those things. Already done that, and knew we needed to have teams of people helping us. So whatever you're doing financially, I think find automation and systems and a team that can help you, because you'll go faster and farther than you would if you're trying something on your own. Definitely.
And plus, those people are professionals. They kind of know. They're like me. I've done so many companies.
You've done so many.
I can do it in my sleep. Like, I can form a company. Like, sometimes I just wake up in the morning. I'm like, who formed a company?
Right.
Oh, no, where are these business cards? They're in my.
It's all good. We got it.
Rolled over on them. What the hell is going on? And but you definitely want that, because I mean, especially if you're kind of at that boomer age, sometimes you've been working a job where you don't have, you've been working for someone else, and the transition of learning to work for yourself, and of course the time.
Yes.
I eat, sleep, and drink business. I mean, like, when I'm sleeping, I have dreams about business.
Me too.
I would love to have a nice Bo Derek running down the beach, but no, it's always about business, and usually it's about what's going to go on the next day, who I'm going to fire, who I'm going to hire, what I need to do, and I got to do this.
Yeah.
So I'll have dreams that are like, hey, I'll wake up and be like, did I do it today or not? Every now and then I dream about Bo Derek, then I'm like, oh, what a relief.
That was more enjoyable. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's there when I wake up. I don't need it when I sleep. Like, sleep about puppy dogs and daffodils and whatever the hell else. Dreamy, I don't know, fantasy lands of.
Right.
Anyway, now you talk about shifting from an I can't mindset to how can I. I imagine that's part of the story you told us about your grandfather. Why is that so important in having a can-do mindset?
Well, I'd like people to be faster and smarter than me, my kids and everyone who comes behind me or gets a chance to hear this. If you can learn, like when we went through 2008, our family had another financial reset. All the business stuff that we'd been doing got a reset in that crazy 2008 stuff. And we learned a ton. But right at that time, I had a person come and say to me, Ann, find a partner. You guys are still good. Just keep going. Find a partner who has what you need financially or whatever other way, and let them help you. And I said, I can't. 2 words right there. I didn't listen to my grandpa's 15-year-old message. I thought, okay, I'm 35. I can't find a partner that could help me with this mess that we're in 2008. And I lost 10 years of time before we kind of stepped back into the boxing match again and thought, all right, here we go. We're ready. Let's do this. And I can't even count what that time cost us. Like, how much income could I have had? How much legacy and impact could I have had? And I think, so that's why I love ask the questions instead of saying, I can't have something. I can't have good health. I can't have a good relationship. I can't do this. Let's go into the how can I, or what if it was that easy to make a few phone calls and just start asking questions about things you don't know yet.
Yeah.
What if?
And spending that time, rather than just, sit in front of the tube, drooling on the side of your mouth, watching the Kardashians or whatever, that's just going to make your brain wrong. It's funny how people invest time. One of the other big things I see that a lot of people are doing nowadays, they're spending like insane amounts of money on cars. Have you seen this? They're they have like $1,500 car payments now.
Yes.
Some of them are putting them on 20-year, 15-year loans. And I'm like, what are you doing? 10-year loans?
I know.
And I heard somebody put their car on a 120 month, which is 10-year loan in mortgage business. I'm like, wait, those are mortgage numbers.
I know, right?
What the hell? And honestly, I've driven a shit box for a lot of years. I rent really nice cars or exotic cars when I want to travel and I want to break down on me, or I want to have a date, or if I want to go out of the town, I rent a nice car. It's really cheap to do. And for the amount of money I spend in rental cars, it's probably $500 a month. And so having I call them a shit box. Having a shit box is you got an older car, but it's cheaper to maintain. It doesn't have some stupid thing. Warren Buffett, at one point he was driving around like a 1989 old Cadillac.
I know.
And then I think his daughter cajoled him into upgrading a few years, but it's still an old car.
And that's okay, right?
And a lot of people like yourself and millionaires that we've had on the show, they'll tell most millionaires don't drive the latest, newest car. They drive older cars.
Yeah.
And I've often joked, especially the way the car repair is going and the costs are going nowadays. I actually had a friend that did this. He had a Ford Focus, and the thing was always broken down on him. Not any bash to Ford, but that's just the story, folks. Don't write me, Ford. There goes our Ford sponsorship. But he finally got sick of the breakdowns and the repairs on the car.
Yeah.
He went and bought like a 1965 Chevy pickup. The kind where you open it up and you can see the engine, and that's it. There's no cable, a couple cables. Yeah. But he's like, this is what I'm buying. There's plenty of parts for it. I can fix it. I just reach in there and do whatever. If it don't start, I just push it and jump start it. He goes, this is the new car. And the insurance is like cheap as hell too. That's the other thing. Insurance has got that control. And so just managing your budgets, managing what you're spending. I mean, I see so many kids complaining about how they can't afford a home. And I'm like, how many times do you order DoorDash? Twice a day. And then in Starbucks in the morning, I spend another 15, 20.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, there's your problem.
That's it.
I mean, I have an expensive espresso machine, but it's much cheaper than for what I paid for it on a daily basis.
That's true. Yeah.
Starbucks,
Yeah. What I'm hearing you say is kind of like the book that I read, which is The Millionaire Next Door. That was years ago, back in I feel like we can do 10-minute magic, as you said, using our time instead of like scrolling through social media. What if you were like listening to a book to learn something new? What if you were, you still have fun, but 10 minutes of a Robert Kiyosaki book or I don't know, all the things that you can put your mind to work a little bit. It's still a lot of fun, and you'll find a lot of things that you go, oh, I don't even care what the neighbors think about what I drive or where I live or all those things that I used to care about, but not now. And they'll just go faster and smarter than we did if they don't care about those things either.
And they can work with you, of course. Let's get a plug in for you. They can work with you to help them figure all this stuff out, get their budgets under control, get their money priorities and stuff. And I think a house technically would be the most interest consuming you're going to spend in your life.
Yep. Aside from taxes. And if you buy things the right way, you can still have a really good tax situation too. There's lots of ways to buy businesses with nothing out of pocket and have a great tax situation all the way through. So again, I think it's just ask people who are doing what you want and get help from them, because it takes too long to make all the mistakes by ourselves, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't have time to make all those mistakes and have to go the slow way anymore. But
it took me a lot of years to become a good entrepreneur. I'm not even sure I can qualify for that yet. After 35 years.
Me too.
I'm still making a few mistakes.
Still learning, right?
Still learning. It's every day is just daily problem solving. But if you can cut to the chase, have other people manage that for you, not have to learn it. It's a lot to learn. I mean, it really is. And
my friend called it the $1 million learning curve. And he's like, if I can like have someone mentor, or not even me, just anyone that could mentor you on your health, your relationships, your money, whatever it is, right? Let's find someone that can speed up our learning curve, because
I need someone who yells at me when I'm in bed saying, put the TikTok down and go to sleep, dummy. That's what I need right there. So what else about your offerings and the work you do for the people haven't we maybe talked about? I know I had a talking point somewhere in here and it got lost in my ADH brain. Maybe it'll come back as we chat.
I think just start by believing that you can. Everything is a possibility. And if I could talk to my 2008 self when they said go find a partner, gosh, I'd have been like, Ann, go get it done. You can find someone to help you. Don't just think, oh man, we struck out and it's all over. That's not how we win ball games or anything in life. We get back up and keep trying. I think it's more like Edison. And Edison kept trying until we had the light bulb, and I'm sure grateful he did, because
why he kept trying, don't you?
Why?
Because he was in the dark. No, I'm just deep joke. Dad jokes on the show. It's low hanging fruit, folks.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where learning this stuff is so important, and managing your finances is so important. I mean, there's so much money you waste, and sometimes it's hard to look at your money and you're like, where am I blowing money on my butt and stuff? Like one of the problems I noticed recently was I was doing this thing on my like one of the card vendors we have is PayPal.
Sure.
And so a lot of times I'm just lazy, and I'll do, instead of going and getting the money out of the ATM or sending it long ways to the bank, I'll just do an instant transfer. Well, you pay an extra fee for instant transfer. We have stuff come in every day. And so I'm like, I started looking, I'm like, how much is this costing me every time I'm lazily just directly fast sending
Going
it?
fast, yeah.
Do I really need to fast send it? I don't know. I don't. I can wait a couple days to go through the banking system. And worst case scenario, I'm always out every night, doing something, errands. I can stop at the ATM and flip it into the other bank. And I was spending $500 plus on that. Like, we make a lot of money, so you kind of go, well, time value of money, but still $500.
Yeah, it adds up, right?
Yeah, it adds up. This thing, that thing, and so you want to manage you want to pay attention to what's going on to your stuff, and you want to not overspend on stupid crap, which is
And also, I think for me, I finally got an idea that, $20, the cost of pizza here can educate a kid for a year in some parts of the world. And $1,000 is a heart surgery for children in Africa. Wow. It's also their whole salary for the year. So, when we don't need everything that we have, we can share it. And it won't even hurt us. And it'll help make good things happen in the world. We've had so many people pay things forward to us, like 6 Christmases that things were hard and someone put things on the front doorstep. And, I just think about that, and in light of, we don't always realize how much good we're doing when we just do a little bit of something, not necessarily even dollars, but just like, did we smile at the person in the checkout line today? I don't know. There's so much good that we can do in 30 seconds or less.
Oh yeah. So much good in helping people. And, if you leave the world a better place, that's our motto over here on the show. So as we go out, anything more you want to plug on the show before we go?
I just really appreciate the opportunity. I think what you're offering to people is like the Butterfly Effect, the book that, again, is more, we just don't know all the good that can happen. That book is one of my favorites, so I definitely recommend it. 5-minute read, lots of pictures for people that don't like to read a lot of stuff. But it was about George Washington Carver and how someone rescued him out of a little gunny sack in the middle of a war. He was orphaned, but someone took the time to raise him and teach him, and he was able to feed billions of people. So I guess what I'm hearing from listening to you and from learning over these past 20 years of our own life is, wow, all the good things that have happened because someone took the time to teach me, and then I can pass it forward. And hopefully everyone behind us will go faster and smarter than we did to try and, I think everything's happening faster now. I thought internet and email weren't going to be a thing, for heaven's sakes, in college. So, that just goes to show you where I'm at and what I knew. But it's a good thing.
It's always a good thing. So awesome sauce. Thank you very much. Give us your .coms as we go out, Ann.
Ann'sPlan.com is really easy. And if you have any questions, Ann@lifegiverlegacy.com, that'll find me too.
Thank you very much for coming on. It's been wonderful to have you.
Yeah, I'm grateful to be here.
Thank you. And thanks so much for tuning in. Look at your budget, folks. I know it's hard times these days, lots of inflation in 2025, but take a look at your spending. Look for what they call the bleed points, where your money burn is, just like startups do, where's the money burn? And, find people that can help you figure out how to save more money. And then, of course, maybe some of that savings, you can put on your credit cards, your mortgage, you can invest in a business. And, especially if you can get a reoccurring, we've had a lot of companies over the years that were reoccurring, kind of like, what would you call them? We didn't have to spend a lot of time doing them, but we get reoccurring income from them. The clients were always using it every month.
Yes, money in the mailbox. It's
money
perfect.
in the mailbox.
Yes, we love that. Sure.
So thanks for tuning in, everyone. Be good to each other. Stay safe. We'll see you guys next time.